Hi guys, welcome to, we're going to be looking at week 3 here, but we're in module 2. So let me share my screen with you here. I'm going to get a little music going on in the background, a little jazz from Chicago. Let me close that out. All right, so let's take a look at what we have to do this week. I did post, let me start off. Let me make sure I get the audio up here a little bit better. Yeah, I posted something on the history of Columbus Day. So if you watch that video, it's real short, and you want to post a response to what you think of the video. Maybe there was something you learned that was new from the video about the history of Columbus Day, or something you agree or disagree with. Post that in this week's discussion board, in Module 2 discussion board. So let's take a look at what we need to have done today. So we've got, or I should say this week, what we should be focusing on this week. So here's that video. If you want to watch it for the extra credit, go to Module 2. All right. And under assignments, we've got Module 2 discussion, a literary adventure, all right? And you would post your response. Yeah, and it looks like some of you have done that. Hey, Kwesi and Javon, looks like you have, Javon has talked about The Outsiders as a literature text. Really good. So yeah, this is where you would want to post for that extra credit, okay? Is in the Module 2 discussion, a literary adventure. So let's go back and kind of look at what we need to do for this week. Pardon me, it's a little dry here. Season's starting to change, getting a little chilly here. Fall is starting. Let's go to that beginning here. So make sure you start. We're on to lesson 2. You should be completely done with module 1. Here are our objectives: to identify literary works that are classics and masterpieces, analyze elements of literature as history, look at the distinctive qualities of poetry, sonnets, haiku, and modern and religious poetry. Point to literary and contextual elements that enhance the quality of fiction, right? Storytelling. All right. So the assignments for this week, you want to read today. This week, you want to work on the readings of chapters 2 and 4 over here in the e-text, right? Go to the e-text to read chapters 2 and 4, and that'll tremendously help your successful passing of the quiz. All right, you've got literature as epic, samples of literature, thesis and outline guidelines. The beginning of the Humanities Project starts this week, and that's about choosing 2 people that have influenced the humanities, someone from the past, someone from the more recent present, and compare and contrast their achievements on how they've helped all of us as humans. All right, that's the thesis and outline project. We've got a discussion on the literature adventure. All right. And we've got a quiz again this week and a live classroom post that you have to do. So after watching this video, you're going to post your answer to the live classroom. So you have to pay attention to answer that question correctly. So I've got a PowerPoint that quickly. Okay, so let me close that out. Well, nonetheless, let's take a look at what we need to do. So we've got those are the general assignments. Literature is epic. Let's go. So you want to make sure you go through all the lesson content for module 2. All right. And let's go back out just to go through all of those things. Let's go to the point where the assignments are. Okay. And here's the thesis and outline. Okay. So this is where the study guide is found over here under course materials. Okay. That's the first part of thesis and outline. You want to check the course calendar for due dates. Let's do that. Okay, so everything for Module 1 should be completed by by Monday. You should have that done. You want to start your Module 2 discussion, and you want to have your peer post by next week. All right, you've got a week to do the peer post, and then you've got the Module 2 quiz, and the outline is going to be due on the 26th. Okay, so you want to finish Module 2 quiz by the 22nd. You want to finish the thesis and outline by the 26th. So the deadlines here that I'm showing you on my calendar are in green, okay, because I've got more than one class, so you don't see this. So the complete Module 2 is going to be due on October 26th. You've got a couple weeks, so you want to make sure the quiz, discussions, and written assignments are all done by Friday, October 26th, okay? Quiz due on the 22nd, so just kind of check all the elements on the calendar to see what's due. So you want to start that, you want to do the readings this week, you want to start the discussion, you want to finish the discussion next week, you want to have the quiz due by the 22nd, and the thesis and outline by the 26th. Okay, that's the biggie. All right, so that's the calendar. Make sure you check that out. Let's go back home. All right, literature and the humanities is the subject for this week. And all right, let's take a look at what a thesis and outline looks like. Okay, I've got under the course materials, I just emailed this to everybody too today, so you should have that. All right, so this is what an outline looks like. All right, I'm just going to copy and paste. Well, let me copy and paste all of this into a new Word doc. This is what an outline looks like, all right? So you want to have your topic here, right? Thesis statement should, what's your topic? Let's say I'm going to write about Duke Ellington and David Sanborn. All right, these are two jazz musicians, okay? And I'm going to call the title of my paper Influencing as all right, let's say this just could be my rough title. Jazz and all of us. Okay, that would be my basic title there. Just a rough title. Your introduction, you should have a quote perhaps from one of the musicians or each of the musicians here. You want to have a transaction that leads to the thesis, what your paper is going to be about, and the thesis statement. So here, the thesis statement would be Duke Ellington and David Sanborn have greatly influenced the lives of musicians and artists that include jazz and how we understand music today. All right, that would be my thesis statement. And then I would have different points of evidence that I would put here of how they have done that, what awards they've won, what what you could maybe specifically say what Grammys, how Duke Ellington has elevated American composers and certainly has influenced African American composers. David Sanborn would be an influence for modern day musicians and their integration into mainstream music. So I would give different supporting evidence. You want to have at least 3 specific points of evidence filled out in this outline, and then you want to wrap it up by summarizing your thesis. You don't need to repeat your thesis here, but reiterate while finalizing your thoughts on the entire topic. Okay, so this is all I want for Unit 2. You want to think long and hard about this. You saw I just started to write this and I thought, oh, I need to spend some more time on this. Okay, but this is all you have to turn in for that thesis and outline. I'm not looking for a paper. I'm not looking for a rough draft. I want you to do the research and show me the research you've done and create an outline for it. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, that thesis and outline. I just want to give you a rough idea of what that is. I'm not going to save this, but you can find this very easily. I'm going to just close that out. This is located in the course materials, and I just emailed it to you. Okay, so check your email too. I've got this, but it's right over here on the left, course materials. All right, that's where you're going to find that study guide for thesis. And then just to Let's take a look at that discussion board that you want to start on this week. We already talked about what you need to. You got a couple chapters to read, and for the discussion, right? You want to choose one of the following options to report on. Okay, there's 4 stories there, but if you have something else that you'd like to talk about, so it looked like someone talked about The Outsiders. You can use that as a story, but make sure that you're using proper capitalization, okay? So the names of books and the names of authors all need to be capitalized, all right? I know we get kind of, we do things fast, right? Sometimes we miss some of the capitalization or punctuation of proper names. So you want to, I saw a lot of that in the discussion board from last week. All your stuff from last week has been graded unless you turned in something late. Here is the quiz, all right? So you want to have, talk about how it contributes to the discussion of the humanities, right? How does it help us all understand each other, right? Any of these stories or something similar to this is fine. As long as you document it, tell us what the story is and who the author is, right? Don't just start talking about it. I see that a lot too. And then I'm like, oh, what story is that? Okay. Or I might know this story, but nobody else does. Okay. So make sure you use proper documentation when you're talking about your story. There's the quiz. You've got a week or almost 2 weeks to do the quiz. All right. Based on the readings and the content here. And then you have to, for the live, classroom question, you have to actually click here. This is something new. All right. And I'm going to hit the, begin part. I'm just going to tell you what the live classroom question is. Okay, so you have to pay attention here. So I'm going to say, what is your favorite story? And then I'm going to say one of my favorite stories would be Anne of Green Gables. Okay, so your favorite story is what you're going to respond to get the points. I think it's just 2 points here, but you have to actually type in what your favorite story is. I'm just going to put in there very quickly Anne of Green Gables. Okay, and then you want to save and submit. All right, and that's going to save that for you, and that's how you'll get the points. Okay, so that's all I have for you to get you started there. Start thinking hard about what you want to do. I'll just kind of reiterate here. I'm gonna leave this page. Oh, I'm gonna try and leave this page. We'll go back to Module 1. This kind of gives you, if you go back to Module 1, it gives you that overview, and I emailed you that overview as well. That's actually going to be under. Let me go back one. Sorry about that. It's early in the morning today. All right, the whole Profile in Humanities project is here, right? This part is going to be due on October 26th. Okay, so you should have already started thinking about what you want to do. All right, and then just the thesis and outline. The total paper is not due until Module 5. Okay, just to give you that. So don't get hung up on it. Here's another example of an outline. Okay. It needs to be, what do you need to write about? Okay, you will choose 2 figures from the humanities, one from the past, one from the present, or a completely different era, and compare and contrast their achievements. Please explain these 2 figures of interest to you. All right, so I used President Obama and Dr. Martin Luther King as another example. Whatever you're into. If you're more into art, maybe you want to compare Leonardo da Vinci and Chris Olfini, Leonardo da Vinci's, Renaissance artist. Chris Olfini's a 21st century artist. You can compare and contrast their achievements in art and how it helps us to understand ourselves as humans. That's really where you want to make that connection. Are the people that you're choosing help us as humans, right? Oprah Winfrey would be another great choice. Rosa Parks, somebody that's really kind of influenced all of us to make our lives better, to help us understand each other and break through some of the barriers of racism and sexism and a lot of the things that are out there today that we need to really work past. I know it's not easy, But sometimes it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. So let's find that positive outlook on who inspires us to make change for all of us as humans. That's what we want to look at for the assignment. That's all I have for you guys today. Let me go ahead and stop sharing.